Yeah, the last regular season game from Tiffin on both sides. Starting off on Lijiang Tower, coming out of TU there. Great first map.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, that first match of the series is kind of just a little mind game on the bands there.
You
go for the Zarya on Spoopy Goopy. Grilled Cheese here opting to go for the Diva instead. So likely seeing just a difference in that style, the difference in dive versus potentially choosing to play a little bit more back, a little bit slower. Either way, going to be seeing an insta-trade of the tanks. BW also going to be losing their first support, that is Scarecrow playing the Jetpack Cat. BW, though, able to get that first capture of points, so potentially able to start some of this progress, but I would not be surprised if they have to give up this soon, being down that one player.
Yeah, early pick onto Spoopy Goopy from Baldwin Wallace, but immediately followed up with Crater's 2 picks. And see how Tiffin kind of playing slow here, waiting for Spoopy Goopy to come back, which gives time for Grilled Cheese on the Diva to come back as well.
Yeah, that stall out there, especially with, I think, Spoopy Goopy actually getting the win and how fast he would have been up. I would have liked to see Tiffin try to break that line earlier, but what we see right now, BW being forced onto the high ground now. They're going to have to make a big dive into point if they wish to go for it. Rapid's going to be getting taken down by Crater, and it's going to allow for what should have been a Tiffin capture. Is actually going to get insta-responded. Both Satney and Grilled Cheese finding picks of their own. Spoopy Goopy getting low. Crater will be able to take out Satney. Grilled Cheese able to take out Princess Raj. So trades back and forth. Side of BW, though, able to barely stabilize, and Grilled Cheese getting the finish onto Spoopy Goopy. That's going to force Tiffin, if they play the same way that they did last time, a little bit more of a stall out here. Getting BW, if you're rooting for Tiffin here, scarily close to capturing that first point with no contest here from the side of Tiffin.
Not the aggression I would have loved to see out of Tiffin there. They had a good outlook on that first fight, but Tiffin slowly coming back in. Not really much speed without Juno Ring.
Yeah.
Coming in with the ult from a Raven, though.
I was going to say, a lot of ults getting popped at the same time. Raven popping the Kitsu, as well as the OC from Crater getting used. But at the same time, Satney popping the Excavation and Grilled Cheese just for assurance, going to be able to pop the Diva Bomb. Spoopy able to find one, unable to continue it. Satney going to give the finish onto Princess AJ. Looking for a potential touch from Tiffin. It will not come through. BW is able to take the first point of these controls uncontested from the side of Tiffin. As you can see, BW, if you were paying attention to the roster graphics, you'll notice specifically DeBoss Baby not in the lineup here. BW, one of the schools that I've seen regularly using their full 6-man lineup, using the subs in and out. One of the things that they're going to have to be working on is how that's going to play into their setups once LAN comes around, as the setups are only 5 people, but I know those guys, they'll figure it out.
Always a fun thing to figure out during LAN. Part of the experience. Makes it fun.
Oh, absolutely. The restrictions not being in your home setups, even though they're nice setups where we're going, South Bend, always a nice venue, but having to figure out how you want to play things and how you want to adjust your settings to the new environment, always a nice thing to see. Starting off this point 2 in Night Market, already going to be seeing a little bit of swap-ups from the side of Tiffin. Crater going away from the Soj, opting to go more for the Cass. For the side of BW, same as last point. No adjustments made. We're going to see if that call is the one to make. Crater dropped below. Vortex King going to be able to demech Grilled Cheese, and that should be the pick coming in soon. Yeah, Rapid going to be dropping as well. Spoopy will be able to get the final pick onto Grilled Cheese. Satney will be able to get brought in by the side of Scarecrow with the Jetpack Cat. Potentially able to get a little bit of
coming out of the cat is amazing here too.
Yeah.
It's that extra 3%. That could do a lot in the later fights as well.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to say, giving yourself a little bit more time to work with. BW now, they are going to be forced back into this market area, so they are going to have to decide how they want to break this line of defense that Tiffin has been able to set up. We're going to be seeing some of the mobility from these characters coming out here. A little bit of that fight now in the middle area around the two statues. Satney trying to break lines, but Spoopy Goopy going to be able to get the finish. Grilled Cheese freeing Princess AJ so close to death, but nothing to be found. Crater will find another. Yeah, getting Grilled Cheese so low. The cast pick getting work done here. Classic T gonna get brought down. Rapid not trying to get too staggered. But BW now, Tiffin, they found their mark. Gonna be able to slow BW down a lot. And now, if you're BW, you gotta figure out how you wanna play the ending bit of this to try to get a little bit more control. It's gonna be a look for this line break. So far, no picks to be found. Spoopy Goopy getting really good isolations here. Satney getting dropped as well. With the Riptire getting popped, no picks quite to be gotten, but it will bring them very low. And a massively charged Zard will be able to do a lot of damage, cause a lot of problems for this BW side. It's going to be another pop of the Grilled Cheese Mac. Rapid able to find one in response. BW, they're able to get a little bit of a cap here at the end, late. But the pop of the High Noon is going to be able to find one. Actually, really big impact coming out here. BW able to stabilize a lot more than I thought they were going to be able to. Things are looking really scary there, but they've been able to get to a pick with the Jetpack Cat all onto Spoopy Goopy. And now BW, I mean, they've got to fight a far way back, but giving themselves a little bit more of a fighting chance in this map too.
Yeah, what a huge turnaround from BW there, losing the tank early, but still somehow making it work. Vortex seems going to go down here to the Juno, but looks like Crater and Raven have a response of their own.
Yeah, big picks coming out from the two of them, able to get 3-4 now just on their own. Last one up is going to be that Jetpack Cat, able to escape for now, able to get a little bit of a stall, trying to play in and out. Not wanting to give up. Unfortunately, the bleed effect from that silver bullet going to be able to get it out. Grilled Cheese unable to make the movement. With only 3% left. BW, they'll be able to get a touch. Satney going to insta-drop. Another pop of that High Noon Crater, getting so much effect out of that. Princess AJ able to clean it up. And that's Tiffin equalizing points here, forcing us to round number 3 of this first map.
Yeah, it looks like Tiffin kind of found their groove with this. I'd say definitely in comparison to Baldwin, the slower comp, definitely less mobility, especially with Baldwin running that Diva, Echo, Venture, Juno, and they on Lucio?
Now swapping to the Loose. They were playing the Jetpack Cat the last two. Yeah.
That is true, yes. The ultimate stalls.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, the only thing that I'm concerned with this BW comp, specifically going into Tiffin, is the tank matchup, Grilled Cheese and Spoopy Goopy. That Czar, when you're on Diva, like, you can pretty much deal with everything else, but with how fed the Czar was throughout most of that map, BW really unable to do much. Are going to be able to get to point first. Would contest under the bridge, but they're not going to be going for the bridge. They're going to be going for this side, and Grilled Cheese already going to be getting the opening pick onto Vortex.
Looks like they got caught out there and punished amazingly by Baldwin. They were just ready to punish any mistake that Tiffin opened with.
Yeah, they saw him cross over, and like you said, with all of that speed, they're able to dive onto people incredibly fast. And that's going to be an environmental kill from Satni, playing the close corner, able to get the drive rush onto Spoopy Goopy, and it's going to cause Tiffin to kind of stall out, waiting on their tank to really be the tip of that spear. For BW, that's just more time on the clock. That's more that you're given to play around. And now that you know that that's a threat, especially with the boop of the Lucio on board, really any way that you try to slice it for Tiffin, they're going to be in a potentially dangerous area. You know BW's looking for it now.
They got that double boops ready for anything, but Crater's going to pick up the kill on the Sandy. Right before they went into the ground, Crater finding a second. Crater has found his mojo on this cast.
Absolutely, yeah, the cast providing so much more impact than we were seeing from that Soj. Rapid thought he was going to be able to get across. I think the combined from Crater and Vortex going to just be able to bring him down and force BW onto the respawns and onto a little bit of the reset. And this is where we kind of saw BW stall out on that last map. Not going to be seeing any swaps just yet. Rapid now with the duplication. Could be seeing a play come out from this. And it is going to be the dupe onto the Czar. Big damage able to come out. Finds Crater. Could be looking for more. That Graviton Surge unable to find big impact, but big tracking onto Spoopy. He'll be able to get brought down. Plastic Seal will be able to find one onto Vortex, and that's an instant respawn from BW. Last one up is going to be Raven. Will get taken down. BW back with control.
Great Echo ult, getting that Zarya pick and basically going back to the Overwatch 6v6 days with the double tank, and not much you can really do against Zarya Diva there.
Yeah, your options are either, hey, fire into the defense matrix or just get beamed. It's a lose-lose situation.
Very unfortunate situation to be in.
Yeah.
Spoopy Goopy getting pooped off
It's another environmental. Oh, no. Satni's gotten two onto Spoopy Goopy, and with the way that Tiffin has been playing so far, that feels like it's been the difference maker. They've been waiting for the tank to be the tip of their spear. Not to say the other players can't hold their own, but Spoopy's really been the initiator. They've got 3 ults up, a little bit better than well, I was gonna say a little bit better, but Scarecrow able to get the beat drop now. Could be important here to try to go for it. We'll be seeing the trade of support ults, but it is gonna be Satni dropped early. The response of the beat drop will come through. Grilled Cheese able to find one now, jumping onto these supports in the back line. He'll be able to find another in that back, but it's responses from Spoopy Goopy. Ooh, Diva Bomb comes out, nothing found though. Seen big damage come out onto Spoopy Goopy, so low, but the Juno ult at the last second gonna be able to come out and gonna be able to keep this tank alive. Last moment, Satni able to find one, but it is going to be the trade out to BW. One left on point, able to stay alive for incredibly long. Plastic T is going to be able to get out here, able to get the full res up, and BW, they just need one more team fight and they'll be able to take this map. As for the side of Tiffin, you need to win 1, maybe 2 with the pace that BW has if you want to fully take this.
Nice early pick from Vortex King. Gonna give them a little bit more time, but yeah, the insane mobility of Baldwin is just gonna give them, like you said, 1, if not 2 fights. Even with that 1 pick, it's still gonna be 1 good fight from them.
Yeah, we're seeing some of these mid-fight ults might be the difference maker. Vortex, he's gonna pop the Riptire, try to find one. We'll get the ISO pick onto Plastic T, but as we heard and as we are gonna see, Rapid able to pop able to get the Graviton off at the last second. Double with the sticky bombs. Gets taken down by Spoopy Goopy. Last touch of Scarecrow is going to get taken down. BW with a little bit up. Might be able to get a final touch in here. Satni looking for it. Will be able to get onto the point, and now it's a game of OT. He's going to get taken down early by Raven, and BW, they're able to get another one in, but instantly brought down is Plastic T. Now you're going to be fighting Mega Man down if you want to try to find something, but Vortex with the double onto the cluster bombs. Crater gets the final onto Rapid, and Tiffin able to clean up map 1 after going down early and convincingly at the start, able to scrape back 2, and puts them up 1-0 in the series.
Was very fun to watch. I just from both sides, the amazing, finding their groove from Tiffin and the amazing teamwork from Baldwin for all of their hyper mobility dives and just punishing Tiffin when they make a mistake. Both sides just. This is going to be a close series.
This is going to be a fun series. I
was
was
going
going
to
to
be
say
close, fun, and best game all year. That's all I'm saying. You know?
I mean, like pre-LAN, I'd argue absolutely. What I'm really interested now is how those first-round bans coming back into the pool are really going to affect everything. We're obviously going to be able to see Satney now on that venture for essentially the rest of the series. So for Tiffin, able to secure this first, but now you could argue playing behind now just because Satney is going to be on that venture or that vendetta and you're going to be able to see so much impact from it. But also, again, now you're going to be able to see Spoopy Goopy arguably on the more comfortable role of the horse, which was getting banned out. And already his Zarya was looking really good. So seeing now the Orisa coming back in really could be seeing a lot of very interesting series on our hands.
Yeah, we'll see how. I don't personally like Vendetta. It's not something I like playing against, so banning it all the time. But in series like this, you only get one ban, or at least I think it's just one.
It's
right?
like every team gets to ban a character once throughout the entire series. So
Gotcha.
Theoretically, BW could. I believe theoretically BW
ban
could ban
their own
Vendetta, but it's like, let's just kneecap ourselves. Let's see what happens,
Yeah, so in a series like this, you only get to ban that character one time, and then you gotta, which is the fun part about all this, is you get to think about, all right, well now I have to deal with this character if I don't like doing that, and it can be the same for both sides. Like maybe next game they want to ban that Zarya from Spoopy Goopy, then you get one game away from it, and then right back to it. It's just very fun switch up all in esports. You got to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And it's also just very fun to play and very fun to watch as well.
It's very interesting, especially with the developments, with hero bans obviously being a very recent development. And I think something that I've seen a lot more esports start to develop. I think it's very interesting to see it relies less on, hey, how well do you know this specific map and how well do you know this specific thing, and more, how well can you adapt? When your best parts are taken out, it's like, okay, how can you work with the scraps and how can you make things work? And the interesting thing, knowing these teams, well, specifically knowing BW incredibly well. Again, I was talking about it like beforehand. It's like I dorm with the captain's boyfriend and I'm close friends with everybody else on the team. So I know these guys really well. I'm interested to see how Zar being back on the table is going to affect things. Because I know one of their biggest strategies was the combination of Vendetta and Zar. You bubble the Vendetta, say, go my Scarab, kill them, and that's just what would happen. Satney would pop like a 3-piece every fight, and it's like, oh, they're just winning now. But we saw Spoopy with so much prowess on the Zar. So the question is, do you leave that open, potentially allowing Tiffin to get something very good, but you have something incredibly good coming through? Or, on the contrary, do you get it out of here for that one game, like you were saying, take Spoopy off of that, potentially reduce his output, but at the same time, potentially kneecap yourself because of the game plans that you've set up and the way that you try to play your game? So, again, with hero bans in the meta and with everything how it is, it's very interesting to see not only how teams decide to play their sets, but also how teams decide to interact with the bans. And it's like, okay, do we want to potentially sacrifice our output because we think it's going to kneecap them more?
Yeah, just the little mind games that maybe people watching esports or just getting into any of this, like, they don't really think about it. They just think like, oh, they're playing video games, which is, mostly true. But
it's not incorrect.
Like, it's not wrong, but you got these little mind games that you're playing, just with the do we do this, do we do that, along with any really competition, it's just a part of it. But we'll see. I don't know what map that we might go to next. What mode are we going to?
I mean, I think it's dealers. I think it's loser's choice, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe there's a hard set rotation.
It's not a set anymore. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I was watching BW play one time, and so gonna be opting to go for the high Blizz World. Okay, I'm interested in this because this is another one of those maps where it's like, because we were seeing the impact of Crater on that last series, like on the Soj, on the Cass, big damage on those like hit scan characters. And Blizz World, especially that opening and even that third point to a certain extent, like that's a hit scan paradise. That is big, long, open angles that you can just, I mean, most of the characters you don't hold an iron, but like you just post up somewhere, you're looking down that lane and you're like, all right, enter my firing range. Have fun. I just get to shoot you now.
Yeah, Blizzard World, not many people's favorite. It's definitely, like you said, that long range, especially point one, that long range, just shooting range. It's I personally kind of like the map. I played Zen on it mostly. I would just sit back and do exactly what you said and just
that's
full
fair,
volley down the choke, and it's not for everyone. But yeah, this map is very, very for that long range. It's definitely something to think about, and maybe Baldwin's got an idea on how to deal with it. I assume they're not picking this for no reason. Like any map a team's gonna think about, they're gonna weigh those pros and cons. They're gonna think about, all right, well, do we give Crater the free reign, and maybe we do this strat, and then that's how we counter that. So something to think about with this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's got to be something that you consider coming into this. Like, I know these teams. I know that they do their scouting. They know what they're going into. That Vendetta ban, sure, it's because Vendetta is, like, horribly overpowered at this point, even after receiving several series of nerfs. She's still insane. But from the side of, everybody, it's like, okay, how do you want to play around that? And talking about those bans coming into this, BW opting to take out the Soj, Tiffin opting to take out the Diva. And I am, I guess, slightly surprised looking at the selections from all of these players coming into this. Obviously, I talked about Satney's Vendetta so much. I hyped it up. It's like the big thing. Opting to go for the Genji on this. I'm not too surprised because I know this specific comp that they like to run, this specific rotation of 3 that you're seeing from the side of Grilled Cheese, Rapid, and Satney. I know they like to run this like hyper, we're going to ISO one person, dive them, kill them, move to the next. And I know that that's something that they can run incredibly efficiently with that Genji. I do worry about Crater on that Emre though. It's more potential
it's
impact.
Kind of an interesting pick. Emre it can be a good character from what I've seen. It's not like very broken, but it's still a pretty decent kit for being as, kind of basic as it is.
For as simple as it is, it's also something that I think only recently would I really put a ton of stock into it, because I knew when I was talking with the team initially about Emre's release, he was like, booty buns. Like, if I remember correctly, the stat they gave me was that his DPS was worse than BAP's. And they're both 3 bursts, and it was not good. But
it's low, but it's still kind of interesting. But onto the game, Spoopy Goopy able to find Rapid, and Grilled Cheese is looking like maybe overshot that jump just a little bit.
Yeah, getting put into the corner, unfortunately. Plastic T going to be able to get a parting gift onto Spoopy. Try to keep Satney up. BW could get their players back and try to force another fight here. They are going to be able to get those rotates up faster, so they could try to move things in early, try to beat the rotation back of Spoopy. And it looks like Tiffin, they're going to be opting to give them that space. Satney and DeBoss Baby combining for that insta-pick onto Crater. Spoopy's back up, though, and in the fray, so we could be seeing a little bit of movement, but that isolation that I was talking about with the Hazard already going to come out, Spoopy Goopy down. And with the way that Tiffin has been playing, another pick onto Vortex, and that's going to be BW with the payload and already causing a fair amount of staggers. And I believe if they're able to find it, Princess AJ, yeah, going to be massively staggered from the rest of the team. So that's going to be Tiffin down to support for a while. BW could be getting a lot of distance off of this first point.
Yeah, that was a classic competition move if you've ever been following Overwatch, you hold off on killing the last one just so their respawn timer does not line up with the rest of the team, and that's going to give... I thought that would give BW the high ground, but it looks like they're going for this more just kind of surprise attack style of just climbing up the wall and then going to get a kill, which works out well to get the pick on the Vortex King here.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Sombra is one thing that I will say I initially questioned when it first came out. The first week they played it, I was like, I don't know if I like this. But then I saw the things that they can do. I mean, Som Vendetta is obviously like omega broken because you have, hey, let's put a super high DPS character that can just go wherever they want without any conflict. Like, that's always going to be super impactful, especially when you combine it with somebody like Sombra, who's able to just dive you out of nowhere. But on this Genji, it's something that they've been opting for, and I guess they see something in it that they really want to look to keep up. And what they've been able to do so far is exactly that, keep things moving. Spoopy Goopy, oh, with the comment, you see four players in that, 4 icons in that kill feed. You know that guy was just screaming for help. He had nothing he could do.
That is one of the worst feelings you can have in this game, is when the kill feed just continues on with the amount of people contributing to your death.
I was gonna say, it looked like he was hacked, he was antied, like he had the kitchen sink thrown at him at that point.
I believe, which is probably causing the swap here, he did pop the Sigma ult, which was canceled out by Rapid's EMP.
Yeah.
So, also another contributing factor to that fun enjoyment.
Oh, absolutely, and we're going to see the Wu Yang ult go so far in. It looked like it got some value, but I'm not sure exactly how much. Great able to get the pick onto Rapid, though, and that might be the response that Tiffin is looking for. Able to find a combined 3, looking to pick up the Boss Baby, able to escape, though, and BW now forced a little bit onto that reset, but with just under 4 minutes remaining, they easily have the time necessary to take this.
Yeah, this is basically the start of a match for them with that time, and they're already on the 3rd point. Getting the pick onto Vortex King. Baldwin very good at punishing just any form of Tiffin standing a little bit too slightly out in the open, and they're just ready to pick up on that.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that I think Hazard provides so much of, because he provides, like, obviously I think it's his E is similar to Maywall in that essence where it's like, it's a wall, it creates a thing. But it's so much faster than Maywall, and you can use it so much more regularly that it's it's super good for isolating fights. But as soon as you aren't playing around that, Vortex King now able to find 2, force BW back onto respawns, and that's a minute bled off that timer. And this close, we're seeing a couple of those ults coming up. We're seeing the Nano, that'll be online. Blade will be up as well in just a couple of seconds here. And Grilled Cheese with the Haz ult, able to pin down a ton, especially if Tiffin opts to play the same corner, but we're already seeing the Nano Blade come in. Big impact, able to find a big 2, sending with a 3rd actually, and a 4th. Last one up is going to be Spoopy Goopy, and he's just going to get found out. That's a full 5K for BW. Puts Tiffin onto full respawn. That's the actual team kill coming through there, and I mean, they're going to be able to get this contest just because of how close they are, and you see a couple of those ults on the Terra Surge and the High Noon will be able to come through, as well as the Kitsu Rush. So be coming out instant with that EMP response.
Big EMP, and it looks like Baldwin is just able to find these cleanup kills. Even with the Kitsune Rush from Raven, Tiffin not able to really do anything. Mostly in part to that EMP. It was just, I think it hit almost all of them,
everyone.
or all of them. Yeah, that was... I mean, not much you can do. You're all walking out of spawn there at the same time, so you're all going to get hit by that, but...
I was going to say, it's like kind of a guarantee, but like still.
Yeah, that was a very impressive attack out of Baldwin Wallace. This is... like I was thinking, they have a plan on this map. They were taking that gamble with the long range, and they already had the answer for it. They were like, you know what, we're just gonna go Hazard and do this comp, and we're just gonna take any space we want.
Pretty much, yeah. Opting to choose for the same comp on defense. I like the idea of keeping the same comp side to side. I think it's just good to have synergy and just know, hey, on this map, this is our identity. Like, we're not going to change anything. But it is one of those things where when the comp style is so aggressive on defense, I sometimes get worried just with overextensions. And that's something that we kind of saw, especially at the start of the match with especially stuff like Grilled Cheese on that first point where he dove into the capture point and then literally just got boxed. So,
Yeah, that was, especially on Blizzard World, I would be a little bit more cautious just because how like long this first point is. And if you overextend, you're really overextending on Blizzard World. It is a lot of space just to get. They have speed, you know, they're good mobility, but it is just that extra length and the extra time just to get back could pose an issue. But immediately Vortex King is going to get punished for overextending just a little bit into that room, and playing against a hazard like that, like you said, that wall comes out pretty much instantly and can just block off that doorway without Vortex King even realizing what just happened.
Yeah, and I think that's the style that BW tries to play into with this starting position, being able to hold kind of that that bird's nest. Even though you don't really have any characters that like hit scan can just be like, yes, I'm going to sit in the back and I'm going to shoot this lane and you are going to die if you enter my sights. If you try to challenge it, you're challenging into 2, if not 3 of the best anti-dive characters in the game. Like, you're just challenging into characters that are going to decide that you are dead. But now BW, they dropped 1. I believe we're able to get the response, and now with the full 5 back up, but they're going to be kind of far now, able to get some of those people back up and able to start to stall. The anti onto Spoopy could have been something great. Forcing out the kits, or forcing out the Suzu is good work, especially with the EMP able to come out, able to find Spoopy. Vortex able to get the response, and now BW trying to force forward. Sandy will be able to find 1, but unable to find any more as he will get traded out. Rapid will keep those numbers still low, able to actually find 2 on his own. Might be able to find the 3rd onto Vortex. Long range with the Sombra sub, but able to keep BW.
You don't see a long-range Sombra that often.
Oh, you do not see Sombras playing like that, but when he's so low, you just gotta pray that those bullets are gonna do the damage you need. But now BW, they've kept Tiffin only able to get 1 tick, 2 minutes left on the clock. And now BW able to get just back into those same comfortable positions, forced back onto the point, so having to give up that bird's eye, or that bird's nest position. But Vortex with this all coming out, could be able to find the isolated pick, will be able to find 1 onto Satney, but Insta gets traded out by Grilled Cheese. Able to go 1 for 1, and the EMP coming out from Rapid. That's just the go button for this BW offense. Able to find big damage, trying to find the pick onto Crater on point. Won't be able to find it, but they just turn around, find the next 2, 3rd as well. Tiffin, with just over a minute left, still only 1 tick on the point. This is looking like a BW response, and in a big way.
Yeah, Tiffin not able to get that 2nd point, which probably would be huge for them coming up on this pretty much last true fight territory.
Yeah,
Vortex can able to find flank another again, but Grilled Cheese is just waiting for any of those flanks. He has seen what the Junkrat can do, getting 3 or 4 picks some fights, and he is just ready to take that down. And now finding Crater.
He keeps doing it. The Kitsu Rush has the ult in the back pocket, is electing not to pop it, just trying to fight the Kitsu Rush raw. Rapid's going to be able to get the pick onto Spoopy. 30 seconds left. Rapid low on HP, but we'll be able to get out there. Not going to get picked. And now, Tiffin, 20 seconds left. You've got like a scrappy touch at best, but Rapid has that ult in the back pocket, and that's just a tether. You're just stuck. So if he gets it popped at the right point, 8 seconds remaining. Tiffin needs to go for a touch, and they need to go for it now. Gonna be able to get onto the point, but Vortex, he's gonna be brought low. Not gonna get popped, but Boss People get 1 off of his ult. Sandy will find 2 off of his own. Plastic with the 4th. Last man up is Spoopy Goopy, but he is hacked, surrounded. He can pop the Nemesis form as much as he wants. BW with the response, equalize the series at 1.
Great response. That is that is Hazard comp at its finest. That is like, what a character, what a design. You know, that's very, very punishing, like we've seen on the flanks. If you're caught out, it is pretty much instant game over for you. That is how Hazard was built. I feel like Blizzard kind of was aiming for that one, and you know, they did well for all things considered. That was
yeah.
Design. If that was their intention, that was great. But
if that was the idea, that they did a good job with that.
They did
Great job,
great
Blizzard.
on that one.
Great job.
Yeah, great response out of Baldwin there. That was easily just a well-executed plan. They had this mapped out already. They had that map ready.
Oh yeah, and this is also something I don't want to get too preemptive in my calls. You know, I don't like to caster's curse, but it's funny to talk about it, and it's even funnier when it works. This is the same way the CSU series started. Drop the control, pick up the hybrid, and then continue onwards. So, I guess just something to consider. But either way,
maybe a repeat.
Hey, you never know. Could happen.
Fun series.
Be a crazy way to close the series. Be a crazy way to close the season
We will
out.
caster curse it. Do not worry. We are here for that.
Hey, listen, that's
what
my
we
job.
do.
I'm here to hang out, and when I'm on the official GLEC stream, try to be at least semi-reasonable in the things that I say. When I'm on the BW stream, it's a different story. I'm sitting next to my director. I'm saying insane stuff all the time, and he's just like, he's just got to suffer through it, because it's like, hey, who else you got doing comms, man? It's me or nothing. So take it or leave it.
Yep. We are doing great. We may or may not have cursed both teams at this point, but that's okay. You know,
if we've given the curse to both teams, they cancel out.
Like, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. We're good. So we've done our job, is what I'm hearing.
Exactly. Yeah, but we are in between these next two maps, in between this map. We're going to cut to a short break. When we return, it'll be map number 3. The series tied up 1-1. BW and Tiffin, with their last regular season bout, both looking to end the season on a high. We'll catch you when we come back.
And welcome back. We are tied up 1-1 on this final match of the regular season for both Tiffin and Baldwin. I believe we are going to Circuit Royale, if I'm seeing correctly.
Okay. I'm down with that.
Another one of those long-range maps, which is, you know, interesting in theory. On paper, you know, especially watching that first point, but then, you know, it was proven completely wrong on the second point. But Tiffin liked that long range, or more of that slow poke style. Obviously, Baldwin had that great response on Blizzard World with the amazing 3-0. Maybe they got another one of those plans coming into Circuit Royale, which is also known as a long range map.
It could be the case. Yeah, obviously, I was going to say, just like you said, Circuit being one of those really long range maps. It's one of the maps where you can really get big carry value out of your hard hit scan players, and that's something that I think I probably just like internalized, but I never vocalized on any of my broadcasts. BW doesn't really have a hard hit scan player. Like, the closest that we have is technically Rapid, but it's like he plays the Sombra and the Echo most of the time.
I don't know if you saw that last game, but that long range Sombra was doing work.
Hey, listen, he was kind of cooking.
Yeah, we got a great shot of that long range Sombra. Okay.
Yeah. But no, looking at these hero bans, this is more what I expected out of the BW side. This is the attack side that I was expecting. Tiffin choosing to ban out the Hazard, I think that's completely reasonable. I would argue maybe a little bit wasted on specifically this map. With how open Circuit is, you can't really get as many ISOs as you can with something like Blizz World, where it's like you have a lot more of those hard corners. You kind of have it on Circuit, but the lanes I feel like are long enough that you can maneuver around. But still, you don't want to get trapped in a room with a Hazard. And BW choosing to ban the Cass, I feel like that's completely reasonable. I feel like that's the character that creators had the most impact on this entire series. And we saw him start on that Soj. And the Soj is now open, so he can go to it if he wants. But BW doing a lot of what I expected, so I'm excited to see how Tiffin is going to elect to respond. Grilled cheese onto the Czar. Satni sitting on the Vendetta, and we were talking about it in between maps, and we were talking about it here and there. Vendetta Very strong character, and I think we're about to see why. If you're looking at the top left of your screen, Sadney already able to get a dive onto the back, gets one onto Crater, and instantly behind Spoopy Goopy, so he's able to find that second. Now, big damage onto Vortex. Could have found the third if he tried to pop the Blade Beam. Won't go for it, but Rapid will be able to clean the kill up, and BW, well, they've got control of that point. They're moving things forward, and they're forcing Tiffin back onto the respawns, and Spoopy already electing to go for that Czar as soon as possible. Once that Sigma's down, you gotta pull out the big bumps.
Yeah, that Zarya's gonna help out Tiffin here for that Vendetta dive, getting bubbled to help out. But like you mentioned, the Baldwin strat of bubbling the Vendetta just to go in and get whatever free damage she wants to have. It's working.
Yeah, and it's
nice
just
clean up kills out of Baldwin here as well.
That's the thing with Vendetta. Satney put on that role. He started as a tank player, known for dominance in that way, has shifted over to the DPS with the introduction of grilled cheese, and now he's just rolling people. I'm not gonna lie. You give him a character that has the ability to, I don't want to call it solo carry, but solo carry like this, where he can just decide, all right, 3 of you are dead now, and like with obviously assistance, because it's like he gets the buffs, and now it's like, whoa, you're like unkillable for a good
You are
10
way
seconds.
too broken now.
Yeah. It's like, hey, let's put the character with arguably some of the highest damage output in the game, and now let's put a bubble on them so they can't die. What?
Vortex team trying to get something with the tire. Unfortunately, I believe it was Echo and maybe Vendetta both out the range for it, but now we're going to get the Echo copy. Always choosing the Zarya. What a great pick, honestly. Just copy the tank all the time. It works well usually, but even with the Wu Yang ult to support, it's still going to get burned by Tiffin.
Yeah, we see the Emery ult come out. Sadney able to find the one with the ult coming out from Vendetta, and now that's going to be the dive call. He's going to go into the back line, waste the Suzu from the not from the Juno, from the Kiri, but he's able to find the Juno as well. Call it a 3-piece. Big Dog is in the house, and he's gotten BW to point number 2. And this is the reason that they banned the Vendetta out map 1. As soon as that guy starts rolling on Vendetta, as soon as you let him and Grilled Cheese start rolling, it's wraps. It's wraps. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, I can't even say anything else. Like, I know I'm on the TU side, but like that is just a combo. Thank you, Blizzard, for that. It's always fun to watch. But Spoopy Goopy, what's he can do with this grab here? Especially with all this pressure from a Juno ultimate and Vendetta and Zarya. It's just not a fun time right now for him.
Yeah. That's the issue. I think this is a stylistic matchup, if anything, what we're watching right now. BW electing to play that hard dive, that get in your face, I am going to stop you, I am going to stomp on you, is just, when you have a hard hit scan player, it's hard to anti something like such a hard dive, especially on an M-Ray. And like we were talking about, his kit's really simple, but that means it lacks a lot of the burst potential that you would see from like an, or not an Orisa, like a Sojourn or something with the railgun and whatnot. It's like, Tiffin now, they're able to force a pushback, able to get the pick onto Satney, and BW electing to regroup and reset, but still over 3.5 minutes of time on this clock with, I don't know, 20 meters to push it.
Not much. And that pushback that you mentioned, it costed Tiffin a grab, so I don't know how much of a fight win that really was, and Baldwin's just going in whenever they feel like it with this hyper aggressive gob.
Yeah, and he's gonna pop the ult again in plastic with the Juno rockets. It'll combine for it. BW, another 3-0 start, 30 minutes 15 on the clock. BW are here to play.
Yeah, they got their strats down. They know what to do.
They
Especially with that Vendetta. That is super fun to watch. Probably not fun to experience, if I had to take a guess.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm not a stats guy. I don't like to harp on a team when they're down. Tiffin got 8 elims that entire round.
Yeah.
Satney almost doubled that on his own. When I talk about dominance from an individual player, that's the type of shit I'm talking about. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
if you technically want to, you know, make it worse for my team, sorry.
My bad.
Some of those elims could also just be duplicates because Overwatch counts like what 2% damage is a kill. So
I forget exactly what
I'm making it
is.
force for my own. I'm caster cursing my own team.
It's something like that. I'm not gonna lie. It is something like that. But now, Tiffin put onto that offensive side. We are going to see Crater pull out the Soj, something that I was talking about before. Could have provided a little bit more pressure when they're getting dove, but again, it is one of those things where Satney actually opting not to stay on the Vendetta, going to go back over to the Genji. Rapid not going to try to combine with the Somb, so a little bit of a different look here, but BW obviously trying to go for something different.
Nice switch up out of BW. It also kind of might be a mind game as well. Like Tiffin might be just mentally prepared for this Vendetta, and they're just not going to show it.
That is true. That is always could be a factor whenever we're talking about it. Now, Tiffin, they've been able to push it up a little bit. No picks quite yet. Though they haven't been able to force it really far up. Scooby Goopy already playing onto this first real hard angle that you can start to play around. But Satney, he's been able to break the line, could try to go for the back. Gonna be incredibly low, able to brought back up, but Rapid's gonna be able to find the first onto Vortex King. Spoopy right around this mid-health range. Grilled Cheese so powered up. Was at that 70% mark. Gonna get brought down a little bit just by the virtue of time, but Spoopy so low overall, not even at 30 quite yet. He's gonna be able to stay up.
Definitely winning this charge battle. The Junkrat is very high charge potential for Grilled Cheese.
Oh, absolutely.
And it looks like Baldwin's just not shooting Spoopy Goopy's bubbles, just patiently waiting them out.
Yeah, really trying not to give the Czar extra potential. He's gonna get a pick onto Satney. BW is here. They could still try to contest this. And Grilled Cheese with the Nano now. He could be going in. Yeah, able to find the one onto Vortex. Now trying to break those ranks, trying to force a little bit more. He'll find the second onto Spoopy Goopy. Able to take down his counterpart. And now they're looking for a stagger onto the subs. And able to get some good damage. The dupe from Rapid, though, I'm a little concerned about. Potentially a preemptive burn. Could be a little costly coming into this next. Where Tiffin, they're now going to have ult economy in their own hands, but BW not that far from two of their own, and it's a real big combination that they could be finding very soon. Fortunately for them, Tiffin almost at full 5, so real big impact potential here if they opt to go for something like that. And it is going to be the Kitsu instantly burned, but already we're going to see the Grav Surge come out. Satney able to find it the first off of that. Now kind of split it. Tidal Blast coming out. Getting nullified by the Graviton. He will get shut down, but it's going to open the door for Grilled Cheese. He'll be able to find one. Unable to find more. Spoopy Goopy getting charged up in that last offensive. And another preemptive alt burn from the DPS. Vortex King going in with the rip tire to the
He got the tire. He got one.
Literally in there. Now BW, fortunately, Grilled so far up, is going to be able to stay alive, just able to brought back up, but it gives Spoopy so much room to work with because of the force on that retreat. BW now they're going to be able to start the re-offensive. Looking to put
Looks like Spoopy backed up a little bit. Maybe didn't have the team support there that he wanted, but kind of giving a lot of space for Baldwin here to just take that back and get this straight back in their favor.
Yeah, they've allowed themselves to get so much. Crater, he'll be able to find the first onto Plastic and big damage onto another. Looking for a potential finish. We'll find it onto Satney. That's 2 coming out during the ult. And now Tiffin, 4 minutes on the clock. They've been able to get it there. Satney, there's going to be the swap back, going back to the Vendetta. So potentially trying something out with The Genji now just opting to go back with what worked, and honestly, that's kind of what you need at this point. And instantly, once you see that blade beam come out, you are, I mean, I feel like it's reasonable to be scared because you're like, oh God, he's back.
Yeah, go back to the tried and true, and
there's a reason it's tried and true. There's a reason it's tried and true. Oh my God, it doesn't matter if you feed Spoopy at this point. He's down, so is Princess. Full TK for BW. Now Tiffin can still equalize this 3-3 on this map. Unfortunately, they're going to be guaranteed to work with less time than BW on that OT if we end up getting there. And with that, it means that BW are going to have more time to push that cart, and we saw how well they were able to hold that first point. Now with that Vendetta in the back pocket, potentially something different to be said. However, we are going to be seeing another swap. Tiffin, Crater opting to go for that Emre. Grochi is already able to find two. Satni already going to be going into the back line. The Suzu's out. And why would you worry? Another full 5 for BW. Back-to-back TKs. Tiffin, just over 2.5 minutes remaining on that clock. And yeah, these two characters, once guaranteed on the board, I believe if they want to, Tiffin can ban out that Czar. I mean, the impact that they are finding from this composition, it's going to be very hard to shut this down. Vortex, though, able to get the opener onto Grilled Cheese. Could be seeing BW start, or sorry, Tiffin start to rally back into this map.
Yeah, I'm still a little... Crater might have his own reasons for that Emre swap, but like we talked about before, kind of just a simple kit, so I'm wondering how it works in their favor against the Vendetta, but it looks like just 2 grabs back and forth, and here comes the third one with the copy. Just a bunch of grabs that fights, man. Oh my, I'm combining words now. Fighting ultimate.
Ooh, I was gonna say, that looked like it could have gotten scary for BW dropping the first 2, but able to get the responsive 4 back. And now Tiffin, just with 90 seconds remaining to get a full cap going, and they are gonna be working with pennies in pocket lint if they end up getting to the point of OT. But with this play from BW, it's going to be the Satni ult coming out. The full charge, able to find one onto Crater. Not quite as big as we've seen sometimes, but the impact of Vendetta, it cannot be understated. As BW, they continue to keep their pressure and keep their placement in this map. Spoopy, he's going to drop to the mirror of Grilled Cheese. 50 seconds remaining for Tiffin to pull it together and pull us to OT.
Tiffin could possibly open up with his Juno ultimate, but Baldwin has one to respond with, which kind of, you know, negates any aggression they want to have there.
Yeah.
Not sure how Tiffin's going to respond to this Vendetta.
I was about to say, they do have the opening of multiple of these DPS ults. Is able to find the Juno, though. But the Wu Yang ult going to be coming online, so if that Juno ult comes up, you can just pop the Wu Yang in response. Do have this Emre for the side of Tiffin, but it is going to be the Tidal Blast coming out. So will the Juno ult. Big damage coming out from Satni. No finds, though. Crater actually able to get one. Vortex King with the second. BW now, they're down 3. Are going to go down 4. Last man up is Rapid. Looking to stay alive, and he will be able to keep up for just a little bit. That might allow time for a BW stall. It's going to be the swap over to the Venture instead of the Vendetta. The Juno going to be dropping. The Doomfist coming out for the side of Grilled Cheese, though. Seen it do work. Unfortunately, won't be able to do it here. And Tiffin, like I said, going to be working with just a minute on that clock. BW, 4 minutes, 15 seconds for their offense.
Yeah. Tiffin capping in overtime. It gives them that minute, but it also, in response, gives Baldwin the extra minute. So now they have more time than when they originally started this map.
Yeah. And looking back onto those numbers, Satni up with the big 26, Grilled Cheese with the big 27. a whole 24 assists. Where did it go? A whole 24 assists for the side of DeBoss Baby, 23 from the side of Plastic T. So much impact coming out, not only from the primary offensive of this team, but also the supports of this team, putting the work in, able to keep those people running for long. And looking at those comps, looking at it just behind the scoreboard, going to be seeing just about what we would expect from these teams at this point. Play what you know, play what has worked.
And this is probably the best comps for each team here, with at least what they're thinking works best on this map. Baldwin's obviously going to pick that combination of
the Tsar Vendetta
and Zarya, yeah.
Big impact from both of these characters so far. Good work on spacing from both them. Never really going too overextended unless they decide that it is time to hit that go button, and then it's not an overextend, it's a dive, and we see Satni in that backline. Does not find a pick, but allows himself not to get picked. Potential placement in that
already
backline.
Down 30 seconds. That is how quick this timer goes off.
Yeah, and they haven't even made it past this first bridge. This is where BW, I've seen them do some of their best work as far as holds go, and that's the issue when you're working with Grilled Cheese and Satni. They can just get in front of you and behind you, double team you. It doesn't matter. You're sandwiched between the two of them, nothing to do. BW with 4 minutes to push it maybe halfway to first point. I don't even think they got it that far.
Yeah, 51.05 meters. So
yeah,
not much in Overwatch. That is not good.
And with BW over 4 minutes on the clock
that
to
4
get it
minutes
done.
is they can
It's
work
like
with whatever they want.
Yeah, that's like a good 4 team fights right there. Like they have.
Yeah, we just saw
time.
Tiffin had 1 minute, and that was one team fight, and unfortunately got picked off, and that was the round. That's all you have to work with, especially in these overtime scenarios where you're on the deficit for time. You cannot make a mistake. You have to use that clock wisely, and only having 1 minute is not much to do.
Yeah, you can use it as wise as you want, but with 1 minute, you really can't do much with it. I mean, you can try, you can get it. I've seen some far pushes in like OT, but like at a certain point, unless you are full dominating, it's gonna close out, and you're gonna run out of time. So now, yeah, Tiffin.
Vortex can go in for the greatest Junkrat play that every Junkrat does.
I say going for the day one. And BW, they aren't even going to entertain the idea. They're just going to go out the other door. Aren't even going to kill the trap.
Classic response.
Yep. And now it becomes the game for Tiffin. How long can these defensive positions exist? And Satni already going to be in. Able to get some damage, but doesn't
Should be already up to
overstay his welcome.
60% charge. It's going to go down here quick, but that is a lot for the opening.
Yeah, and Sandy so far into the back line, gonna be low, but able to find the first onto Vortex King, instantly able to get back, gets the bubble, gets the heal, and now BW, I was gonna say able to continue their offensive, but Crater able to get the response onto Satni. Rapid's broken the line, but won't be able to find much more than that. Grilled Cheese able to get the return pick onto Spoopy Goopy, and with the big charge, could be looking to get more here. This could be dangerous for the last 2 subs that are online. Able to find one, last one up is the Juno. Will get taken down. Grilled Cheese, last man up, able to do it all himself. And that's BW taking a lead in the series. 1 map away from a flawless season. And going into postseason, spirits held high, primed for domination.
Yeah, a very dominant duo that we are seeing here. Just what a character.
What a character.
What a character.
Yeah, what a character, what a duo, what an interesting story for those two. Satni being the longest tenured member on this team was at the initial iteration when BW Esports formed back in Overwatch 1. still on the team his senior year. And Grilled Cheese, first year with the program, was on the team last semester, had to take a little bit of a break, came back in this semester, renewed mentality, and those two, Peanut Butter and Jelly, they've just been together the entire time, showing their face for the entirety of this season. And again, just one map away, 2 to 3 points away from taking it all and from going into South Bend. I mean, statistics-wise, favor to the East, but I feel like once you put it up against Tiffin, of all people, it's like you did it against CSU, you did it against ONU, did it against Tiffin, like, you know, you put your name into conversation with, like, the big dogs.
Yep. I mean, might be a little biased, but I do like the Tiffin team sometimes, you know.
I mean, hey, listen, they ain't bad. Like,
but I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Oh, absolutely.
From both sides, you know, this is there's some big dominance going on right now with, you know, that duo. But
oh, absolutely.
You know, for what I'm watching, this is still one of the most fun series I've casted.
I mean,
for
this is
the whole year.
Yeah, this is one of the most back and forth series that I've seen. I think the only one that really rivals this would be the season opener with CSU. But either way, actually seeing, like, from what I've watched, teams really go back and forth with each other, really have that where the bands super matter and you can tell how they matter, but then mid-game you're like, wait a second, they figure out a way to work around it. And then the other team has to catch up, and you're seeing that back and forth. You're seeing that parity throughout the entire series. And obviously, Tiffin is going to have selection here. You know, they're going to be able to pick whatever map they want to. They're able to go to whatever mode that they like. I mean, we could be seeing a control, a push, a flashpoint if they opt to go for that. So definitely some options here for whatever they want to take.
It's weird to know that we can just choose whatever mode again. That is...
It's very interesting. It's one of those things where I wasn't ready for it the first time that it came up, and I was like, wait, that's strange, but it's really interesting to watch.
My first season in GLEC was 2020, so I've been here a minute, but like I've been used to the whole, you know, we play this order, so now coming back to just cast these games, it's like, okay, well, now
it's organized chaos.
We did it last year. It is organized chaos, and honestly, it might be fun sometimes.
I mean, I'm here for it.
It's given us something interesting to watch, so I gotta give them credit for that, I guess.
It is a blast. I was gonna say, it's a format that I think I've been seeing some more. I know at least collegiate leagues trend towards. I don't follow OWCS closely enough to say if it's something that happens in the big leagues, but I assume if the collegiate leagues are adopting it, the big leagues probably are too. But it's just interesting how far the game has developed from something even if we go back to early stage Overwatch 2 to now. There's been so much development in the game, in the competitive structure for how it goes, as far as metas and what's really risen to prominence and what things have fallen off, what characters have come back into formulation, and even something as simple as the perks that we've been seeing. I haven't talked a ton about them because they impact more from a gameplay stance and less a casting stance, but it's something where it's like when we saw the cast coming out for Tiffin early in that map 1, we saw so much of the bleed effect from the replacement for the cast right click with the silver bullet. We saw that getting picks. We saw that having impact. And it's just something where it's like small changes like that affect how impactful teams are throughout the entire, how impactful characters are throughout the entire time. And it's so interesting to watch things develop like this because there's so many parity between teams and difference in how everybody wants to run their stuff. So it's always interesting to see. It's always fun to see too.
Yeah, a little flashpoint coming out here.
A little flashpoint coming out.
Get a Suravasa pick from TU. And yeah, like you mentioned, the perks, especially, in my opinion, kind of save this game. But
absolutely.
Like you said, it's not really like a thing you got to mention as a caster. But you know, for anyone who maybe doesn't play this game or just hasn't in a long time, the perks are very impactful. You know, that silver bullet right click replacement has been doing work. We get to see it again possibly because CAS is no longer banned unless Tiffin wants to, you know, ban it themselves. But
or stick with the MRAY because we've been seeing them pull that out as well.
Crater has been on the Emray, which still, I'm still thinking about that pick. You know, I have not played with the character enough to say how I feel about that character.
Yeah, the
very,
performance
very simple, but you know, it can be good.
Hey. If a player is able to make it work, if a player can step up to the occasion and show that it's, you know, it's got a spot on the roster, then the player can show up and show that it's got a spot on the roster. But at the same time, again, I've been seeing the impact from it, but I don't know, it hasn't blown me away yet. And that's a little bit of just, this is really my first time truly seeing it, because as I said, BW doesn't have that hard hit scan player, so we don't really have a player who would be really opting into that. But also it's just, I don't watch the pro scene enough to know if it's like, yeah, Emre's getting picked a ton and he's like Omega busted. But either way, if they see something in it, they're choosing to pull it out for a reason. And obviously, I mean, I'll say it with my chest, all 10 players on this screen are infinitely better than anything that I could put up in Overwatch. Like, I played a little bit competitively, but I played on the Academy team when, funnily enough, both the supports for this varsity roster were playing on the Academy program because we had different players. But that was like my freshman year, so that was 2 years ago. They have developed a long way since those days.
Yeah, if there was a person on TU I trust to pick out what I think is a simple character, it's Crater. We got a saying over here. It's always Craterable. So if I'm putting a character that I'm unsure about in the hands of anyone, it's got to be him. So, you know, if he wants to keep playing Emre, and if he has a reason for it and a plan, I fully back it. You know, that is one person's opinion I do not disagree with is going to be Craters.
Yeah, that's how I feel about with a lot of our team. It's the same thing when I was talking about the Sombra pick when we were back on that Blizz World. The first time I saw it, I turned to my roommate and I was like, what is that kid doing? Why is he pulling out Sombra? What is wrong with him? He was on Tracer. What happened? And then they played a map and he got like 15 ISO'd picks and I was like, never mind. It works apparently. And so it's like, listen, these people play the game a ton. They're going to experiment with stuff all the time. And then they're going to come into practices and they're going to be like, hey, listen, I've been trying this thing out. I think it can work with the way that we play. Try it out in a couple of scrims, see if it works, see if you can morph it into a comp or you have to make something around it. Next thing you know, you're showing it here.
Yeah, that part of the joy of esports is coming up with those weird ideas and just getting, you know, it might not work on paper to most of the people that look at it, you know, like us. You know, we question it sometimes, but then we see it just work in their favor, and we just see what their hard work that they've been putting in all season for pays off into.
Truly is. Looking at the selections here.
There's some bands here.
These are some wild
these might be the most targeted bands other than map 1.
I mean, I feel like it's going to be like map 1 is going to be where you already have the, okay, we are saying this individual, you don't get to have fun. But once you get to this point,
we've scouted you, here's what we're banning, but now we have a Czar ban in response to Baldwin and a Junkrat ban in response to Tiffin.
Yeah. I'm slightly interested in the choice to throw grilled cheese onto the Ramatra as opposed to something like the Hazard. But at the same time, he finds...
Like we just said, you know, if we question it, it's, you know, and then they just go and prove it.
True. Yeah. Unfortunately, though, on this opening fight, it's going to be BW who goes down early. Vortex King able to find that final pick onto grilled cheese. And for the side of Tiffin, able to get the first touch and able to start their collection of points. Rapid going to be sticking on that sim. It is not just a rollout, it is being pulled out in the main side, and grilled cheese able to get the pick onto Vortex. And that is looking like a go button for the side of BW. The Maywall not quite going to isolate, but Sadney actually going to be able to clean it up no matter what. Finds the second onto Crater. Plastic T with the spot onto Spoopy. And that is a team wipe for BW. Not quite timing-wise, but functionally. And now, BW in the driver's seat.
Like we've been seeing this whole series, the punishment from BW just If Tiffin makes one small play or vortexing like that last fight, he just was a little too far in. They're ready for it. They do not mess around when it comes to getting that person who's out of position and just picking them off.
Yeah, they have a very it's a dive heavy play style, but it's not a we're going to jump your full team. It's we are going to jump you specifically. We're going to find you, we're going to find your home address, and we're going to DDoS you.
we're coming at you, but
we are jumping, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. Big Papa ults there, back and forth. It is going to be Tiffin who's going to be able to come out on top. 3 picks to be found. BW, though, could be going down. Full 5 down. Going to be the full respawn for the Yellow Jackets. Tiffin, just 1, maybe 2 team fights away from getting this first point captured. Side of BW, just 1 team fight away from winning this first point. He's going to be a little bit... It's going to be... contested. Tiffin with 4 ults, BW only with the 2, and the insta-pop of 2 ults going to be coming out the May wall, able to stall, but BW actually able to get onto the point early, takes the control back while Tiffin was too invested in them being pushed up. The sim wall able to find so much pressure. Out comes the cast, nothing to be found. Scarecrow with the first, and a response from Grilled Cheese. It's 2 of each down, but both supports for BW up. They can sustain this fight for as long as they need, but they've given the space. Will need to be the last second touch. A little bit of a touch from Scarecrow. Spoopy Goopy stuck in the middle, trying to find 2. BW looking for the dives onto the individual. Scarecrow finds the first onto Raven. More damage to be found onto Spoopy. He'll be able to find the first onto Scarecrow. And now those respawns are coming back in. Spoopy goes down. Grilled Cheese with the pick. Plastic finds the second. Grilled Cheese will find another. 1 man left. Grilled Cheese with the 3-piece. BW with the recapture. And they're able to win point number 1. But it's a long road left. 2 more points needed for BW to confirm. Tiffin still in this game.
What a back and forth that was. Both sides investing heavily. I believe Tiffin popped all 4 of those ultimates, and Spoopy Goopy's left with just his. And it looks like Baldwin popped a lot there too, but they're going to come up here with the Lucio beat ready and very close to that Ramatra ult and the May Blizzard as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of those pops came from the earlier fight before the OT started, but a lot of the Tiffin ults came like as the OT was popped. Scarecrow was able to get the opening pick though onto Vortex, so it is going to put him onto Mass, rotates back in, and Spoopy really utilizing the gun as much as possible. It will overheat if you let it go for too long. A Terra Surge will come in, but the beat response instantly just nullifies any sort of impact that could have found. And BW, they're just able to continually find impact on this. And this is exactly what we're seeing. Able to skip the front line. They just don't care about the enemy tank. Go straight for the back line and the squishies. Rapid finds the opening pick onto Raven. Scarecrow able to get the response onto Spoopy. Vortex King down. It's a wipe for BW. All 5 dropped.
Yep, just the ability from Baldwin to always have a speed boost. They're running that double speed comp with Juno Lucio, but Lucio, as we all know, just has a perma speed if you just leave it on. Tiffin, they tend to like to play that slower comp, but they're very limited to just Juno Ring, which was popped right now pretty early, and doesn't look like they're utilizing it to all go in.
Yeah, it looks like they're using it a lot for rotates, not as much for those opening, like to start your explosion onto point. The Mayalt gonna be popped. Spoopy Goopy, I mean, he's in the reinforced, but he's gonna get dropped. Damage coming out from Vortex and Crater, able to get some picks. Crater up, trying to get the moves, won't be able to find it. The bleed gets a little bit more damage onto Grilled Cheese, but that's BW. Not necessarily uncontested, but able to take it 100-0, and now just 1 flashpoint away from closing this map.
Yeah, well, that was 100-0, but these have been pretty close fights. Just 1 or 2 either just outplays or mistakes from either side will turn any of these fights. That is how close I'm seeing all of this happen.
Yeah, and BW in the alt economy gonna be a little bit ahead, even though they only have 2, and Tiffin only has 2. Each BW close to 2, Tiffin only really close to the 1. Vortex gonna be able to find the opening pick, but Grilled Cheese with the response insta. Now they can dive with that beat drop, especially they can just force fights. Spoopy Goopy trying to get things rolling. Grilled Cheese will get taken down though. Raider able to find a second. Raven with the 3rd. Spoopy with the 4th. That's going to be Tiffin able to strike first on this point. And now BW needing to crack back in if they want to end it here.
Baldwin had to use both beat and wall there from the Symmetra to defend against Tiffin, but that high noon from Kratos was able to pick off Grilled Cheese. But like you said, Baldwin can just kind of walk right in now with their own ultimate of Juno, and the Ram has ult to sustain himself even longer.
Yeah, we won't be seeing the ult insta-popped, but I'd assume pretty soon we might be seeing it come out. Spoopy trying to get the impact, but Vortex and Crater, they're just going to do the same thing that BW has been doing, skipping the tank, going for the backline. Grilled Cheese not wanting to give up the stagger, and with over 80%, BW, they can try for the final touch, but it is going to be tough. Maybe just trying to get picks, force out anything, build your alt economy up.
Yeah, just get that pick there. Probably not the best, but they're going to go for it.
Yeah, they're actually in. Grilled Cheese able to find another, but he is going to go down with the ult up. Scarecrow able to be in, swapping back and forth. Just trying to play things, I guess, as impactfully as you can, as just the 2 supports up stall for as long as possible. But Scarecrow going to go down, and that is going to be Tiffin taking their first point on the board. And now we're going to be moving.
That silver bullet from Crater is, he knows how to use that. He's putting that thing to work.
It is getting so much impact.
Tiffin has coming up on 4. They have 3 ultimates, and they're close to the Juno ult. I wonder if Tiffin's going to play this aggressive here. That Maywall's coming out to section off Vortex King.
Yeah, that's something that we've been seeing them do a ton, exactly like the way that they were playing the Hazard. And the Excavation's going to be able to find the first. High Noon popped, but really doesn't find anything. The Silver Bullet going to miss as well. This chase down from Scarecrow will be able to get it. Another pick onto Vortex. Last man up. The Kiri gets taken down. Actual last up, the Juno. But he doesn't want to give his life away, so he will fall back.
Decent picks and some decent space taken from Tiffin there, but with Spoopy Goopy going down first and pretty early in the fight, that's just not much you can do with your only tank in Overwatch just going down that quickly.
Yeah, it is a massive problem if your tank goes down first. It's just, you lose so much of what could be your potential stopping power. You lose so much of what could be your opening. But we're seeing these teams, funnily enough, almost mirror each other in the ways that they want to play, opting to really skip the tank fights, going for the backline. Grilled Cheese will go down, though. Rabbit able to find the pick. Onto Vortex. Scarecrow finds another onto Raven, trying to get the jab onto the Mei. Won't be able to find it. And I think Spoopy last man up. The entirety of the BW team just going to descend upon him. And now Tiffin, with such low time, they're only going to have a couple seconds left to get this touch, but they're going to have to do it without their tank. The swap to the Doomfist, it won't matter.
They're not even going to touch.
It won't matter. They won't even get the touch.
The point in Flashpoint ticks so fast, and that is just how...
It's so much faster than you would expect, and I was expecting to get the opportunity to do like kind of a big pop-off and talk about the season, but like there wasn't really a fight for me to loop it into at the end, I'm not gonna lie. So with that, BW closed the season out flawless, an 8-0, a 3-1 over Tiffin, giving them trouble. And I will say that it was not as flawless or as easy as the numbers may deceive you. The only map that I would consider easy was the Blizz World.
Yeah, the Blizzard, that was...
Yeah.
That was pure domination. You
but
know?
beyond that, Tiffin winning the Lijiang, forcing the circuit into OT, and even on the maps or on the hills that BW won in the Flashpoint, other than that last one by Spiral, every point was a bloodbath. Even the 100-0 that they got in the like pit point, Tiffin was fighting that tooth and nail every time.
Yeah, like I mentioned, it was just I think that was the most fun to watch map of this whole series. Just every fight was, you know, one or two decisions or things that happened in that fight decided it. And it, you know, it was 100-0 on that one, but it was still just very close, even with one of the points being 100-0. But then the rest of them, like you said,
it was back and forth. It was back and forth. One different click, one different decision. We could realistically be looking at this going to a map 5 easily. Tiffin, just like every time, it felt like they were not in like a bad way. Even like one decision, it didn't feel like they were behind in like they were just pulling things too slow. It felt like BW was just like that, like little bit faster on their play calls, and I think that's really all it was.
Yeah, Overwatch at the end of the day, it just comes down to who's quicker. Like, that is kind of what this game has evolved into, is you got to be ready to make those decisions. And Baldwin was ready to make any decision, you know, with the dives, with the punishing whoever was just out in the open. Tiffin, they made some good plays, you know, but just not having that split-second decision like Baldwin, it shows, you know.
Yeah.
It shows at the end of the day. It's fun to watch, but it shows.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, again, at the end of the day, Tiffin, not a bad team whatsoever, putting up a massive fight here. Again, like, it's weird to say when you look at the scape of how GLEC has been in previous years and what schools have been at the top, but like you're fighting the undefeated conference leaders now. I don't know if they're going to get 1 or 2 seed. I don't know exactly how that's going to interface with East and West Conference, but either way,
yeah, I don't know any of the seeding.
Oh yeah, but like that was their last match to go undefeated, and Tiffin gave them one of the most fights that they have had to face since the start of the season. You are in conversation with, like, it's the only teams that have been able to take maps off of BW this season, or this season, have been Tiffin and CSU. Like, that is an elite group of teams to be considered with when you're talking about the GLEC. Those are teams that are top class, like, all of these teams coming out of the East, massive showings here. And, like, throughout the entire regular season, because I know we were watching the regular season to see what the teams coming out of each season were going to be. And Tiffin and CSU, they were two of those teams where it's like, you look at them and you're instantly like, okay, that's going to be a tough match. They're going to give us trouble. It is going to be a bloodbath. And Tiffin showed exactly that. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, BW takes it.
They had the decision. They had the split second. They were ready.
They take it in the end.
But not the outcome that I wanted for my team.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
No,
that's
slight
fair.
bias. Sorry.
I mean, hey, listen, it's
ignore that.
Listen,
slight
it's
bias.
Biased comms are the best comms. I'm not gonna lie. When
that
you get two
true.
people just hyper in their camps, it is the most fun I've ever had.
But I really enjoyed what I saw from Tiffin today. You know, I've casted most of the Overwatch games. Not all of them. But the swap ups here and there. But this one, they looked ready. They looked like they wanted to show that even if it was 3-1, they were still ready to fight. And I think they did that. That was just a fun series to watch overall.
Absolutely, they definitely showed fight throughout that entire thing. It was back and forth. Definitely, like, could have been anybody's game. But like we said, end of the day, congratulations to BW on a well-fought win, a well-fought season. Congratulations to both these teams on qualifying, and congratulations to every team, and thank yous to every team who've chosen to compete in the GLEC throughout the entirety of our regular season. It's been a pleasure. I've been on here a couple of times, doing these broadcasts, sometimes for Smash, sometimes for this, whatever it may be. I'm around. it's been a blast watching all of these games. It's been a blast covering everything. Super happy to have the opportunities. Shout out to all the production team here at Game Arena down in Columbus. Shout out to everybody like you and just everybody who's chosen to give their voices, give their production. Yeah, you. Everybody who's chosen to step up and help with the production of this league. Literally, this could not be done without, like we talked about, without volunteers, without people choosing to step up from their teams to give those biased commentaries and to really make these broadcasts as fun as they are. It was a pleasure casting these games with you. It's a pleasure casting these games for you, the viewer. But I think that's going to be all for us today. Any final words? Anything you want to say?
Nah, I think you said it perfectly. Like, you know, just fun series tonight, fun series all year. Big shout out to all the teams, all the production crews for every school. You know, watching these streams is fun. It's part of competition, you know. The scouting only gets done because we have all these crews and, you know, we get to have all these fun experiences. So, you know, you said it perfectly. But fun casting, fun being here. I think this is my first time on GLEC. I don't know. Not the casting, production-wise, yes.
Yeah.
I've been playing here for a minute.
I was going to say, you've been around the block.
Yeah, I've been here once or twice.
But yeah, no. I am unsure if there'll be any more regular season GLEC broadcasts. Obviously, this is the last week of regular season competition. We've got a couple weeks till LAN, so any sort of makeup games, those will be wrapping up pretty soon. And then next time that you'll see this broadcast, it's going to be at our in-person down in South Bend, Indiana. Mark your calendars. It is, I know the 17th is the Saturday, so I want to say it's the 16th. That's the Friday when competition starts. Production, any chance that I can get a yes or no on that?
I'm getting a nod. It is the 16th. I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Maybe I make an appearance on the stream. Maybe I don't know.
Hey, you never know. You never know. But no,
just come say hi.
Hey. Listen, it's always a pleasure to bring these to you. But again, for today, it's going to be all we have to cover. It's been a pleasure to bring these games for you all. I've been Emily.
I've been Zepsy.
Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time in South Bend.
Bye.